Hey everybody, Dr. Jana Bigliani here from Fluid Physio, and we are pairing up with Big Bear Gear over here in Lambertville to tell you a little bit more about proper kayaking mechanics and how to prevent some injuries. So the thing I'm going to be saying right now are 6 elements of proper paddling to get you and keep you safe from strains, tendonitis, overuse, those kinds of things. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the proper body position. So when you're sitting on the kayak, we want your head to be horizontal and head up and still. So I'm actually going to bring this here. Oh, look at this. Pretend that I'm sitting in the kayak. So I have to sit on the ground. So when you're sitting here and you're paddling, you don't want to be here, right? So keep your head up, horizontal. Think of your nose going right to where the water is. Head up and still. So as you're kayaking, don't let your head bob along. You're going to keep your head up nice and still. Okay. So next thing is going to be some efficient arm movement. There we go. Now, I'm going to move the paddle so I don't hit the wall. But what we want for the efficient arm movement is full extension and strong, efficient arm strokes, right? So as you're coming here, you want to have that full extension to get into the water and pull back, full extension on the other side, so that you can be as efficient as possible. If your arm is not going fully extended, you're missing out, right? So full efficient. Once your arm strikes the water, you're going to pull with your shoulder blade muscles as you rotate your torso. So pull, get the paddle in the water, head still nice and still, full, efficient, strong through the back. You don't want to pull like this. That's going to hurt your shoulder. Pull through your back muscles and rotate. Okay. The other thing to look out for is to avoid splashing. Any kind of splashing, like if you slide and you have the paddle in the water, or when you're going to put it in and it's just choppy, that's just not going to be efficient, and it's going to make your wrist have to strain a little more. So you don't really want that. And the other thing, where you hold your paddle. You don't want to be, switch directions. Okay. Where you hold your paddle, you don't want to go too wide. Sometimes I would say some beginners might make it seem as though, well, if my arms are wide, then I don't have to move as much. Or if my arms are wide, then I have more control. But not necessarily, because if you go too wide, you're going to hit the side of the kayak and you're not going to be able to have a good pull because it's going to get to your shoulder and give you some rotator cuff injury. So you want to go narrow so that you can keep this strong with your core as you fully extend and row. So keeping it a little bit more narrow. Okay, so the next thing is going to be number 3, the core. You want to feel strong to have that torso rotation. You want to have this torso rotation so that as you're kayaking, this is what's really getting you your power transferred into your paddle. So as you're here, you're steady. Imagine your spine, right? You have your spine and your ribs are going to rotate about that center. Your spine is going to go right through here so that you don't have any of the side bobbling or any of that. So the thing from here is that, well, your shoulder blades, as we talked about before, they're the ones that are pulling back. Those are big muscles, not your little rotator cuff muscles. They're going to be pulling from the back, kind of like when you do a horizontal row in the gym. And believe it or not, your hips and your legs are going to have a lot of control because they're the ones connecting you to the boat. So when your feet are in the boat, your legs can actually contribute and do a little bit of rotation, right? So you can feel, when you get in the kayak next time, feel your glutes. How much are they helping you? Your inner thighs, because your legs are actually going to be nice and together. Your feet are going to be together. And so that leads me into number 4. When your feet are together, you're going to minimize the resistance in the water. and that's going to go the rocking. We don't really want rocking of the boat. We want to go straight. So any kind of side to side is going to be minimized by keeping your feet as close together as they can. So nice and rotating. Also, this is going to give you number 5, the rhythm and consistency. You want to be nice and smooth to where you pull. I thought I had a bug. That's why I looked down. But you keep your head forward and enjoy the outside, right? You're going to enjoy your scenery. So feet together, minimize that resistance, and use your core to keep you steady. Have that rhythm, because this is the other thing that is going to help you not have the rocking and be more cyclical with your paddling. Okay. Lastly, number 6, the proper hand positioning. We want to have the optimal leverage and avoiding kind of stiffening through your hands to avoid any kind of tendonitis or any kind of pain through there. And keeping a sort of like, you don't have to grip your paddle to death. You just have a good control of it, but still allow for that smoothness to travel through and take the control, and the hard or the strong power come from your torso. So this is the perfect time. We're now going to introduce you to our Big Bear representative, Rebecca.
Hi, I'm Rebecca from Big Bear Gear. It's really nice to collaborate with Fluid Physio today, and I'm here to introduce you to some of our paddles and also our kayaks. If you're sort of entry level, we have paddles and kayaks for you that are entry level. As well, if you want to rent kayaks, we have a livery operation that is in Kingwood. So if you're just trying out kayaking for the very first time, you'd want to start it on flat water on a lake. But once you consider yourself a little bit comfortable with navigating, then you can go up to close to Frenchtown at Kingwood and rent kayaks there. It's a lot of fun. It's a 5-mile paddle down the water. And as long as you can navigate, then you can go around some of the rocks and the little riffles that are there. So I welcome you to do that. As well, you can buy kayaks here, and I can walk you through the kayaks that we have here. The paddles that we have range all the way from about 100 to 160. And that's going to depend on the length of your trip and how much you're going to make use of the paddle. The paddles they range in terms of both specifications and the weight. So as you pay more money, the weight gets lighter. And also in terms of choosing paddles, it's really going to depend on both your height. If you're very tall, you're going to be up at like a 140 centimeter. If you're medium height, you're going to be around 130. And if you're on the shorter side, you're going to be about a 120. And just to give you an idea, this is a Carlisle paddle. This is very versatile. It clicks apart. It's very light. And this, you're going to be looking at about $100. Then we have the Carlisle paddle. This is really fun, really light. And here you're going to bump up to about like 120 or so. Don't quote me on it. But you'll see that it gets lighter and lighter as you pay more. And then you're going to go up to the Wilderness Systems. This is called the glass paddle. It's not actually made of glass. It's PVC, polyethylene. And it's nice because you can actually change the grip on it, and you can change the height. So that's nice because if you have different family members, you can change the height to accommodate their different heights. So that's a basic intro, but we have a lot more in the barn and in the store. So if you come in, we would tailor it, take a look at your height, and also help you to pick out a paddle.